What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Cardinal Red. We back for some more of that Ali Land boxing talk. We talking, is Terrance Crawford scared of Manny Pacquiao? Well, I would say no. you know, I'm pretty sure there's some Pacquiao fans out there, and I'm a big Pacquiao fan, that would say Terrence Crawford is scared of Manny Pacquiao. I don't think he's so much scared. I think that if you go back and check out my corruption and boxing video, you'll see an interview from Bob Arum where he says his matchmakers feel like Manny Pacquiao is too much for Terence Crawford. And in a way, I feel like that's just the truth. I don't feel like Terence Crawford is so much scared. I just think that the higher-ups on Crawford's team know Manny Pacquiao, even at 40 years old, still has the tools to beat Terence Crawford. I feel like that's the reason why those two were never matched up, and that's the reason Bob Arum kind of tried to get rid of Pacquiao, because eventually it was so much talk surrounding that fight. Eventually he was going to have to match them up or move on, There's a possibility he was just like, I'm just done with Pacquiao. He's commanding too much money. I got a younger, hungrier fighter. I feel like that can run through the welterweight division in Terence Crawford. So maybe it's just time to move on from Pacquiao. That's a possibility too. We can't just always take it as Bob Arum's an evil guy. He's doing what's best for himself, his business, and his fighters. And if he knew that Manny Pacquiao was going to no longer be one of his fighters, he did what was best for him. As far as Terence Crawford being like physically, like I'm scared to fight Pacquiao, I don't think he's scared to fight Pacquiao. I think he wants to fight. I think, unfortunately for him, what he don't realize is there have been a lot of young guys that say they want that fight until they actually get the fight. They get on the big stage, and then they get popped by Manny Pacquiao, and they don't realize that he's greatness. He's one of the best to do it. Until they're actually in the ring with him, and before they know it, the fight's over and Pacquiao's hands getting raised. That's happened a lot to a lot of young fighters that have wanted to challenge Manny Pacquiao over the past few years. I won't call no names, but we all know who they are. And you can say, those guys are not as good as Terence Crawford, but we could all point fingers at certain spots on Terence Crawford's record where you can say, that guy wasn't that good or this guy wasn't that good. I don't feel like there's no need to do that. But I will say his boxing record is nowhere near as strong as a Manny Pacquiao's boxing record. The caliber of fighters that he's been fighting have not been elite level fighters. He hasn't had to me, an elite level fight yet, and neither is Errol Spence. I hate to drag him into this, but sorry, Errol Spence, but other than Kell Brook, which was an excellent fight. So I that's why I give Errol Spence the nod in that fight, is because if we're going to go by resumes and who's fought the hardest fighter, Kell Brook is the toughest fighter on both of their resumes. And the only one who fought him is Errol Spence. So I don't feel like Terence Crawford is so much scared of Manny Pacquiao. I just don't feel like Terence Crawford has been in big enough fights to go against a Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence will be a hell of a fight. I don't think too many people are looking to make that fight. And I think everybody thinks that Errol Spence is too big for Pacquiao. But that's what everybody thought about Margarito. Go look at the hype surrounding Pacquiao versus Margarito, or Pacquiao versus De La Hoya, and what they said about the size difference and what Manny Pacquiao was able to accomplish in both of those fights. I know people are going to say he's 40 years old now. You know, there's no way he can put up those type of performances, but, you know, we're talking about legendary fighters here. You know, everybody said Foreman couldn't do it when he knocked out your boy to win the heavyweight championship again. Everybody said Ali couldn't do it for the umpteenth time, and he did it. You know, he went and got his belts back. You know, everybody said Manny Pacquiao couldn't beat Margarito till he destroyed him. They said he couldn't beat Cotto until he destroyed him. They said he couldn't beat Oscar De La Hoya, and he retired him. You know, everybody said Floyd couldn't hit 50-0. You know, you can say whatever you want to say, man, until it's proven. And when you think about that fight, or when you think about those two being placed next to each other, Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford, the resumes speak, and Manny Pacquiao's resume speaks much louder than Terence Crawford's resume does. So, at the end of the day, I don't feel like neither one of those fighters are scared of each other. I just think one of them is less prepared than the other one is, even at 40 years old. It's Ali boxing talk. Excuse me, it's Ali Land boxing talk for the night, man. We out of here.